with a slow-ass movie season upon us, I figured I'd take this time to review the Star Wars movies. I should be wearing a Star Wars shirt, but I'm wearing a Bruins shirt. Plus, too, we got 3 months until Star Wars The Force Awakens comes out. Oh yeah! Star Wars Episode 7! Star Wars. Later retitled Star Wars A New Hope and Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. Nope, I'm going by the original title when it was released in 1977, and it's an original 1977 glory, because that was the best version of the film. Thanks a lot, George Lucas, for fucking it up. So Star Wars is a space opera set in a galaxy far, far, far away. So Star Wars focuses on this kid named Luke Skywalker. He lives on this shitty planet called Tatooine. Like, seriously, you don't want to live there. It's like Mad Max territory. Like, only Mad Max would live there. Or old hermits that live in a hut like Obi-Wan. Luke's kind of whiny. He wants to go fight for the Rebel Alliance in their battle against the Galactic Empire to take them down and their giant-ass space station called the Death Star down. How do you not want to watch a movie with a space station called the Death Star? That is just amazing. Turns out, the leader of the Rebel Alliance, Princess Leia, has intelligence and, has clues on how to destroy the Death Star, so she's trying to send it back to the Rebel Alliance through 2 droids named R2-D2 and C-3PO. And Vader tries to capture her and try and get those plans back. Now, this was a movie I watched all the time when I was a little kid. I don't really care about, the prequels. I thought that these were actually cooler. And I loved everything when I was a little kid. Like lightsabers. I love that shit. This doesn't have a lot of lightsabers in it, but, this was even cooler than the Phantom Menace fight. Seriously, I say that because watching this movie when I was little, I was more engrossed in this world than I was in the world of the Phantom Menace, because this is me experiencing Star Wars for the first time. I was like 5 years old. I was like, I love it. Granted, I also saw Saving Private Ryan when I was 5, and I loved that movie when I was 5, so what the hell do I know? When I was little, the moment Darth Vader walked on the screen, when he walks through that door and through the smoke, yeah, I remember watching that when I was 5, and my inner 5-year-old self was just like, yeah, that guy's bad. He's a villain. He means business, and evil business at that. And this is a scene, at least in the Blu-ray, I don't remember if it was in the DVD release, but in the Blu-ray, George Lucas changed the music, so it's the Imperial Death March music. You know, the music that's like... yeah, that music. Yeah, I think that actually works better in this scene than what we heard in the original 1977 version, because that is what I think of when I think of Vader. When I think of Darth Vader, I think of the Imperial Death March. And there are people out there that say Darth Vader is one of the best movie villains ever created, and I strongly disagree. Darth Vader is one of the best movie characters, good or bad, ever created, period. The thing about Vader is that he hides behind the suit. You can tell the dude is damaged. You're like, why are you behind that? You really don't find out until, the prequels fuck it all up. You're just like, you are damaged. I understand why you are like this and why you're in that suit and why you want to take down the Rebel Alliance. But Vader is also a methodical badass. He can force choke you with his mind, and that is awesome. Not anybody to get choked ever. I mean, it's not good, but doing it with your mind? Yeah, almost didn't end well for that youngster. I forget what the dude did, but Vader just goes up to him and he's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. And Vader just puts him in a force choke, and he's like choking the guy. The guy's gonna die, and this is where you find out Vader's not the highest up on the power pyramid. Nah, there's actually people higher, like Grand Moff Tarkin. My man! You can tell Grand Moff Tarkin has power over Vader, because Vader, this is where you learn that Vader answers to Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin's like, alright, Vader, enough, release the dude, and Vader's like, alright, fine. Tarkin is cool. That artwork that I got at Comic-Con has Grand Moff Tarkin on it. It's all of the Galactic Empire, like the higher up on the Galactic Empire, and Grand Moff Tarkin's on. And I'm happy he was on that artwork, because to me, Grand Moff Tarkin doesn't get as much credit as Vader. Ultimately, Grand Moff Tarkin is the one who blew up Alderaan with the Death Star, not Vader. Vader just standing by and he was watching. I mean, you could say, I guess he helped him blow it up. But it was ultimately Grand Moff Tarkin that pulled the trigger and was like, yep, bye-bye planet, you're now dust. I am a genocidal freak. You're all gone. And yeah, based on what I just said, if you haven't figured it out by now, the Death Star can blow up planets. Yeah, don't mess with the Galactic Empire on their space station. Seriously, this is their whole mindset. They're like, hey, you fuck with us? Say goodbye to your planet. It's like this where I look at Star Wars and I'm like, Star Wars is amazing. Stuff like that just sets the bar high. It's like blowing up planets with a galactic laser from, a space station. One of the best villains ever characters ever put on screen, period. He has a higher up. He's not the top of the pyramid, he answers to somebody. You learn all this information about him, and this movie is intriguing. It's why Star Wars is good. And I'm going to elaborate on that by moving, into, some other characters. Luke Skywalker meets up with an old Jedi Knight named Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan tells Luke that Luke's father was once a pupil of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He fought in the Clone Wars with Obi-Wan, and yeah, Darth Vader killed him. Really the first thing I'd want to hear if I were Luke. However, the two go to Mos Eisley Spaceport, and they go into a cantina in the Mos Eisley Spaceport, and we are introduced to the greatest movie character of all time, as Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford. Here's the thing about Han Solo. He's a badass, 2, a douchebag that's lovable, 3, a smuggler. And this is where George Lucas really pissed every fan of Star Wars off and smacked them so hard in the face that I think he got death threats after this. He probably didn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Because here's what happens. But first, moment of silence. Alright. Here it is, I'll tell you now. Han Solo owes Jabba the Hutt some money. He has to pay up with cash. Greedo comes up to him and he's like, hey, going somewhere, Solo? Sit down, let's talk business for Jabba. Greedo was going to kill Han Solo, and in the original 1977 version, Greedo comes up to him and he's like, I've been waiting a long time for this, Solo. Han Solo just whips out his blaster and he's like, I bet you have, and he blows Greedo away before Greedo can even get a shot off. Yeah, that does not happen in the 1997 special edition, the 2004 DVD, or the 2011 Blu-ray release. George Lucas fucked this scene in the ass for the greater good to piss off Star Wars fans. And me, as if you can't tell from my tone. And the fact that he changed it, it looks so terrible. It is sloppy. Here's what happens in the 2004 DVD release. Greedo pulls out his gun. He shoots first. Han Solo's head jerks to the right, so the blast can't hit his head. Then he pulls out his blaster and blasts Greedo away. Ugh. Looks even worse in the 2011 Blu-ray. If you didn't think it would get worse, yeah, it gets a lot worse. In the Blu-ray, both Han Solo and Greedo pull out their blasters at the same time. Greedo shoots a split second before Han Solo. Han Solo shoots split second after Greedo shoots, so George Lucas makes it look like they're shooting at the same time, but you can tell Greedo shoots first. A big puff of smoke, a cloud of smoke, as the blast is going towards Han Solo, a big cloud of smoke emerges around his head out of nowhere. So you can't see his head jerk to the left to, see him avoid the blast. But, he avoids the blast and it goes to the right of his head. He jerks his head, but you can't see it. And then his blast hits Greedo is dead. Every time I watch this scene, I'm like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be done, George Lucas. This change, I don't get it. It makes no sense. It is slapping the character, the movie, and the rabid fan base in the face. Big time. And George Lucas's reasoning behind changing this in all subsequent versions after the 1977 theatrical release makes no sense either. He's just like, well, you can't redeem somebody who shoots first. Wait a second, hold on. Isn't the whole Star Wars saga about redemption? So does that mean Vader's not going to become a good guy now in every subsequent version of Return of the Jedi? Has he ruined that too? The horror. Added in, which was originally going to be in the movie but wasn't, was, Han Solo talking to Jabba the Hutt. I prefer this scene to be out of the movie because you spend 2 movies trying to figure out who this Jabba the Hutt is, and then he shows up in Return of the Jedi and you're like, oh, so that's Jabba. No, in the 2004 DVD release, he put Jabba in there, and he's in there in the Blu-ray, and I guess he was in there in the 97 special edition. Not a fan. I think it should be out. I mean, I can live with that change, I guess. I'm not too huge of a fan of that change, but I mean, I can live with it, but I still prefer it to be out. Totally. The thing about this is that Obi-Wan and Luke need a fighter and a pilot, the best in the galaxy, to go to the Death Star and rescue the princess, and Han Solo's just like, you know what, I'll do it, but I'm only in it for the money. I don't care about your stupid rescue mission. He will grow on you, don't worry. Now the 3 of them and Han Solo's companion Chewie, who's a Wookiee, they're going to go to the Death Star and rescue the princess and cause every Super Nintendo game after this movie for the next 5 years to copy that exact plotline because, it'll sell games. And sell games it did. Kudos to Nintendo. I still play Aladdin on the Super Nintendo. That game is awesome. Save the Princess game. I have a whole bunch of them. So their mission is a success. They get the princess and Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to square off with Darth Vader. Lightsabers! That's right, they got an app for that now, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud to have one. So they're going to do a lightsaber battle, and here's the cool thing. First of all, it's a lightsaber battle. Nothing cooler than that. Second of all, we know that Darth Vader was once a pupil of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He even says, when I left you, I was but the learner, now I am the master. And Obi-Wan's just all wise, he's like, yeah, only a master of evil, you asshole. So in that sense, I thought the lightsaber fight was boring, and then I got the DVD and I was like, oh, George Lucas fixed it up because Alec Guinness is actually swinging his lightsaber around. In my head there was a voice telling me, yeah, George, we got to fix that lightsaber fights for the kids at home. They can't watch somebody poke. No, we need to have Sir Alec Guinness fight like Christopher Lee did in The Hobbit. I remember getting this on DVD. I was like, the lightsaber fight is fixed. No, I was just that stupid when I was little. It was like this in the 1977 version. And Vader just slices him down. Obi-Wan is awesome. Vader is a dickhead. Kudos to Obi-Wan for knowing that that was the right way to go. He's like, nope, this is what I gotta do for the greater good. He just gives it all up. I love wise people like it. And then it's time for the Rebel Alliance's assault on the Death Star. They're gonna go destroy the Death Star, but Han Solo's like, you know what, I'm out. I said I was in it for the money. I'm out. Part of you is just like, aww. So yeah, the Rebel Alliance is going towards the Death Star. They're making their way towards the Death Star, and they find out that you can shoot like a torpedo down this little hole, and the Death Star blows up. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever, and sounds kind of dumb, but you know what? It worked in 1977, so it works for me. Then Vader's in one of the ships. He's attacking all the pilots. He takes out all the guys with the Mike Napoli beards and the porn star mustache. He's going after Luke, and he's like, you know what? The Force is strong with this one. I must have to take him out. And Luke sees a ship on his side, and it suddenly blows up. And you're like, holy shit, did Luke just use the Force? No, he didn't. Han Solo comes back to save the day. Han Solo's a badass, because he comes back and he's like, yeah, I care. I just don't want people to know I care. Plus, two, I get a cool medal at the end, except Chewie doesn't. He's gonna cry. So that's going to conclude my review for the original Star Wars movie. Star Wars works because of the characters. It's got really good characters. It doesn't shove Vader down your throat. He's not like Christ gone bad or something. He's not the one who is supposed to bring balance to the Force and not leave it in darkness, as Obi-Wan once said. Yeah, that was bullshit. It's all about the loyalty, the friendship. You can tell that this group in this movie is definitely going to be friends forever. I'm talking about the original 1977 version. I'm not talking about the subsequent versions that, screwed everything up, like the Han Solo thing and the Jabba thing. And, there's some other differences and changes that George Lucas made in those movies that I didn't talk about in the video, and they're still stupid. I don't know why he...
I find his lack of faith disturbing.
However, I'm going to give Star Wars an Excelente, which is better than my 10 out of 10 rating. I'm just going to flat out say it. Star Wars is... Excelente. If you haven't seen Star Wars, A, why? B, if you're gonna watch it, watch the original 1977 version that's on like one in every like 2,000 DVD. Because that's the version that is the true version of Star Wars. Everything else is not. What's your favorite scene from Star Wars? Alright, I'll say Star Wars A New Hope. Just so we're not naming scenes from the whole saga. So what's your favorite scene from Star Wars A New Hope? I want some feedback, so drop me a comment in the comment section below. And for more news and reviews on movies, movie trailers, video games, and TV shows, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, hit the big red subscribe button, and welcome to Maddenville. I promise you.
It'll be a day long remember.